Right, it's Sunday night. Let's do this. I'm going to go with the pre-roll for 2 seconds, and then we'll be back and getting on with the show. Yes, it is Sunday night. We're not going to start this one so lively. Yes, it's Sunday night. It's time for another live stream. And this week we're going to talk about what we now know, because it takes a week or two, and I have put a video up on this, but it's worth expanding upon, and that is DJI have some problems with O4. It's not surprising. I don't think anyone should be pretty worried, but there are some quirks. And actually, I got some interesting observations on this. We're going to talk about Cadex giving away free cables. Is this related to JB's rant on his live stream that he couldn't find the cable for his Moonlight VTX? Influencer influences company. Who would have thought about that? We will talk briefly about the fact that Rotor Riot have a Blue UAS open source ESC, and I will put some provisos around that discussion first as well. We will talk a bit about the binding flies that have appeared with O4. I'll answer a lot of questions tonight, actually. I think it's a night for a lot of questions, and then we'll sort of finish off on what next, because we're in the vacuum now. We're in the... You know, the excitement has passed. We've got O4, and now it's time for a bit of reflection of what's next and what to expect. But before we do that, I do want to get a few... Bambu. We'll talk a little bit about the Bambu thing as well. Yes, because there's a lot of noise around that. I'd forgotten to put that in the doc. I'm waiting to see on that. I think there's a lot of noise and a lot of fuss. I don't think it's going to affect 95% of people out there at all. Not even 95. I'd even go a bit higher. But we'll talk about the noise around that as well. Now, before I get into this, I want to address something that I'd seen posted and someone sent me a message on. And it's quite funny, actually. And you're starting to see questions like this pop up around the place. Let me just get Discord up and talk about FPV WTF, because this is an amazing project, and it's you know, it's something that a lot of people are very interested in, and you're starting to see some interesting questions. And let me go to the desktop, and I need to turn on NVIDIA Broadcast. There we go. Hello. And it's things like this. Hello, what about a hack that will make the V2 goggles compatible with DJI O4? And actually, this isn't the first place I'd seen this. I've seen comments like this on Facebook. I've seen people asking, when are the team going to hack support for O4? Jonas, who was the lead dev, is the lead person behind WTF, used some quite kind words. Very unlikely to happen. I'd have gone a bit stronger on that if I was him, but he said very unlikely, and someone said never say never. Look, let me be the bad guy here and say it is never, ever, 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 ever going to happen. The V2s will never be hacked to support O4. The chances of DJI even doing it are basically zero. The chances of it being a hack is even beyond zero. So look, let's get this out. It's over for V2s. I'm sorry, it's end game. No more. You can't hack in support for something entirely new, right? It's not possible. So let's move on from that. Something I will add though, which is interesting for Goggles N3 users, and I've not seen this, but someone shared a post with me about this, and I'm going to try not to misquote the man, because I don't want to misquote the man himself. Let me just get it to the right spot where I was shown this. It's a comment actually from JB, and I will be completely honest, I've not heard anything about this. I usually hear things in test firmware, but I've not heard about this, but it doesn't mean it isn't true or it isn't correct. Now, unfortunately, I've got to try and find the bloody post with it, which takes some doing. Yes, so here it is. So someone posted this on my Discord, and it's a reply from JB on a question, I'm guessing, on one of his videos, is what I would think. And it's about O3 support for the Goggles N3. And what JB has written is, you're right about N3 and O3. Sorry about the confusion. N3 support for O3 is coming in a future firmware, but not available today. I forgot that support was only in his pre-release firmware. So it seems JB's pre-release firmware for the N3 actually had support for O3. I don't know anything about this. I'm not calling JB a liar. I've just not heard about it. What I would say is this. The amount of people who even had N3 goggles to test with O4 was probably minuscule. So if anyone knew about it, it would be JB, because I know he's got them and I know he's testing for DJI. It isn't something I've heard. I'd heard a lot of stuff, but it isn't someone that's landed on my desk, but it doesn't mean it's not true. And I'll be honest, it's probably only one of a small number of people who would know, and JB will be one of them. So I am both shocked and not remotely shocked about the fact it's coming. I'm not remotely shocked from the sense of these are basically Goggles 3 hardware with different displays. It's only the displays that's different. Everything else from an electronics perspective is very much the same. So backporting it from Goggles 3 to N3 should be really simple, because DJI have already done the work. They've already done it. All they've really got to do is copy and paste and make sure it all works. But I'm surprised, based on the fact they've just released O4, that they would even bother adding support for something older. That bit surprises me. I've never thought it's particularly hard for DJI to do it. I just didn't think they would bother based on the fact of they've released O4. But if it happens, good news. It just means the N3 are a little bit more compatible with stuff that's come before it. Do I think DJI will make Goggles 3 N3 compatible with the older units and Vista? I just don't see it. But who knows? You know, look, DJI is, as always, predictably unpredictable. But that's the two things there. Someone said, he also said that pre-release had INAV. It actually did. I said pre-release had INAV, because it does. The Goggles 3 and N3 has the full INAV support. We've even seen screenshots of it. DJI pulled it at the last minute. And I suspect they just ran out of time, is the truth behind that. We know there were issues with the OSD because the layout wasn't quite 100%. And what I suspect was DJI just went, oh, it's not ready, we'll do it yet. DJI customer service have said, there is a screenshot that was shared with me, and it is a straight shot from customer service that says we will add INAV support in the future. look, I still think you can't always... Look, you can't hold DJI support to the same standard as I would hold marketing materials. So I would give them a pass if they didn't do it on that. And let me just explain this crystal clear of a difference between two things. There has been no official response from DJI saying they're going to add INAV support in any of their documentation. We have a single DJI support request person say we will do it in the future. That is different to DJI saying in the spec we are adding INAV support and it's not there, and then it never happens. And they have done that before. They have pulled that stunt many, many times, but they haven't here. So let's see. But I think it will come. Genuinely, I do think INAV support will come. They've done most of the work. DJI, what you need to do, and I understand why you don't want to do this, but what you need to do is add the ability for users to upload custom fonts from the SD card. When I say INAV support, remember, we are talking the full INAV OSD, not the Betaflight compatible INAV OSD. Remember, the workaround is the compatible. When we talk about INAV support, we are talking about full INAV OSD with all of the current elements. But there will still be problems because the second DJI do that the way they've done it today, it'll be out of date because INAV will update, Betaflight will update. What would really solve this, and again, I still fundamentally think that MSP and MSP DisplayPort and the OSD system is flawed and it needs to be improved. And I personally, and I will say it again, think it needs to be separated off into its own open source project where all of the flight stacks contribute, where there is one place for all of the manufacturers to go and download the latest versions of MSP specification, the latest versions of the OSD files, instead of today having to go to Betaflight to get their OSD file, to INAV to get their OSD file, to ArduPilot to get their OSD file, to KISS, to others. If, like Mavlink, a separate project was created that they all contributed to and agreed on the specification, and I know that's close to impossible because God help frickin' open source flight stacks actually talk to each other, that would be unheard of. No, instead, they all want to do their own bloody thing, and rather than actually admit what they're doing is wrong, they'll all sit there and go, no, we're right, we're the ones who do it properly, we don't need to talk to anybody else. But no, they don't do that. What they want to do instead is bicker among themselves, and rather than put a single unified solution in, like Mavlink, like DroneCan, like we've seen before, and I think this could all be so much simpler. But I'm wrong, apparently, and the INAV dev teams have told me I'm wrong, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But wouldn't it be nice if everything was just a little bit easier, and then manufacturers wouldn't have to faff around dealing with each project individually? They could just go, let's have a look. What is the latest version? What is the latest spec? So if we look at Mavlink, and we go to Mavlink, and we go, oh, look, here's Mavlink. Mavlink has got a website. Here's the Mavlink developer guide. Here's the guide that tells me how to do it independently, that will work with all of the systems and not just mine, or not just have a quirk on this and another. Because yes, there's a published spec for MSP DisplayPort. It is part of Betaflight. Well, ArduPilot have their own documentation, but if you go spec, so MSP DisplayPort, that needs to be one word, spec. What comes to top of the list is interesting, is FPV WTF. Betaflight down here has the extensions listed. But wouldn't it be better if there was just a single project to house this all and a single place that people could go to get it? But again, what do I know? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, apparently. So, anyway, right now, you have the workaround, but I think INAV will come. I think it'll happen, but it will have its problems because it does now. The truth is, and here is a absolute fact, if DJI allowed uploads of custom fonts, most of these problems would go away. But I still don't think that's the right way of doing it. But anyhow, that's where we're at on that. So INAV will be sorted. Look, the arming issue, apparently it was DJI's fault, but INAV was the only one that didn't work. Don't know how that works, but I think they didn't follow a spec, but it worked with everything else. But look, that'll all be solved. So that's where we're at today. We know where that is. We know what that's about. So we're just going to have to wait and see. What we do know is there are some quirks with O4. And so far, all of these quirks are related to Goggles 2. And what's quite funny about this is I had heard on the lead up that they were having issues with Goggles 2 and Integra before the launch. I'm just not convinced they fixed them. I actually think they released it with those issues, having looked now. I'm not seeing any solid reports of issues with Goggles 3. It is bob on with Goggles 3 with regards to it working. There are some issues with the camera cables, but it's working fine. So Goggles 3 users, crack on. Goggles 2, things a bit shit, and there are problems. It is getting stuck in low bit rates. I've put the video out earlier showing it. Their auto settings are not right. It's not behaving properly at all in auto with Goggles 2, and people have confirmed Integra. It's just not right at all. It's getting stuck on lower bit rates, and it's not stepping up. This only, though, seems related to Goggles 2. I have created a post about this on DJI Forum alongside the video that I've put out, because I will always try to make sure DJI understands. So if I go to DJI FPV series, I don't think anyone's responded. DJI FPV series. There is a post from me now. DJI O4 bitrate issue with Goggles 2 and Integra, stuck at 16 megabits. So, look, I have raised it with DJI in the only ways I know how, which is shouting and screaming in a video, although I didn't shout and scream too much. And I have put a full post of the issues in technical detail on DJI's forum, explaining the issues. Indeed, that's a terrible screenshot I took there. They won't fix it now. I should have masked my face so they didn't know who I was. That would have been funny. But I'm showing it there. And again, I explain the detail in great detail. And hopefully they'll do it. My only concern, and here is something I don't know, and I need someone to tell me this. If you are experiencing this issue, I need to know something. In America, I specifically need to know, is anyone experiencing this issue in the USA having never used the ham file and having used the ham file? Because I'm not sure if this isn't a ham file only issue. And it could explain why we're not seeing that many people talking about it, because how many people in the US even use the ham file? Because it doesn't give them any more power, it just gives some extra channels. I'm a little concerned this is a ham issue. And if it is a ham issue, I'm worried they might not fix it. But we've got to wait and see. I just hope it's not a ham issue. I really do. So that's all we can do. But look, I've put it in the video. JB, I think he, I've put it in a video. I've put it on DJI forum. I can't do any more than I've done. Look, I always raise these issues when I can. My original letter is still up there on DJI as well. It was quite nice, actually. If you look at it, we can tick some boxes off here. So my letter, my open letter I posted to DJI is still there. Let's go back to page 1. So I wrote this. When did I write this? It's ages ago now. This was regarding the O3 safety issues, but I also in this detailed other issues. So O3 low power mode, they didn't fix that, but they gave us proper low power mode behavior in O4, so they clearly did listen a little bit. Full custom OSD, O3 power output settings. Well, they gave us O4 power output settings. O3 slow signal loss recovery, they definitely fixed that. So they listened to some of the stuff I listened, but they put it in O4 instead of putting it in O3. So that's where that is on that. Now, one last thing I just want to mention, and I need to find the screenshots for this, is I've been doing loads of testing on O4 the last week. I've not flown that much. My testing has all been around the RF, the RF testing, the latency testing, and all of that stuff. And I have published some images on this. And there is quite an amusing outcome I want to show you guys, actually. Let me just find the file with it on. I found something quite funny, and that is DJI giveth, DJI taketh away, and DJI wrap it in a new dress and giveth back to us again. And that is very much the situation with O4 and latency. Because the original DJI FPV system had the lowest latency that we had seen from DJI. You know, it was by far the lowest. Let me just bring this into the right area so I can get this in the right place, because that's a bit big. And then have we got this one? Here we go. I'll get this here. So DJI's original FPV system definitely had the lowest latency of all of the DJI systems, okay, by a country mile. Why is this playing up to show you? Okay, there we go. This is not working. Let me just make a change a second. Sorry, guys. The problem is the monitor I use for that is smaller. So I'm going to have to do it as a screenshot. Okay, so the original DJI FPV system had one of the lowest latencies that we've seen. It was lower than Avatar HD. The only thing lower was HDZero, okay? So what's quite interesting when you look at the numbers is this, right? So this is some of the early latency testing. So over here, we had the V2 system on 120 frames a second, which you got 18 milliseconds lowest first pixel, an average of 20, and then 30 milliseconds to the full frame. When O3 came out, latency went up. And if you look, latency here ended up on O3 at about 26 milliseconds to 34. So they increased it between 4 and 6 milliseconds on O3. Now, O4 is basically the same in normal operating mode, which is this here. So you've got O4, 1080p, 2.7K, 100 frames a second. It's basically the same as O3. However, this is where race mode comes in, because DJI have marketed, oh, we've got new race mode. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, this is the best thing we've ever seen. And let me find the numbers for race mode, because it's quite amusing when I look at race mode compared to the other modes. Where the hell is that vanished to? Where is the chart for that one? Because it's vanished. Why is the chart not where it should be? Ah, no. The worst thing is, I've already done the numbers on this, and I can't see the chart. It's not under Avatar Relay. The worst thing is, I've published this chart, and now I can't find it. I'm trying to see if they're hiding under each other. One of the big problems I have with the charts is that they hide under each other at times, so you can't see them. Let me just check the bottom of this one, because this keeps going all the way down forever. No. Right, let me find it on bloody Discord. What I don't understand is why I can't see it where I published it. Downloads, they should be under me downloads, but they're not. So let me get them off Discord, because I've already published them onto Discord. So let's go from me. From me and has image, and then I will find it. Really annoying when your own images disappear. I don't know, did I? Okay. Opening browser, we're getting there. There's that one, and I just want to find this other one. Not that one. And is it this one? Yes, it is. Open in browser as well. So, okay, so I got a couple of images I want to show you. This first one is now showing you the difference between O4 and O4 Pro in race mode. So race mode, here you got your standard operating modes. So you've got DJI O4 Pro, 1080p, the normal mode. This is basically the same as O3, which is 25, 26, 36 milliseconds, okay? That's on the O4 Pro, which is basically the same as O3. When we then look at race mode, you can see race mode brings it down to 17 milliseconds. I haven't quite seen that 15 milliseconds yet that DJI has stated, but I believe it. Okay, I need to do a few more runs, but it's probably there. But what you got is race mode down at 17, and then if you look at it on the light, because remember, race mode is higher on the light at 22 milliseconds, like 32. So you're definitely a penalty of race mode on the light compared to the Pro. Now, what's also quite interesting is when we look at this chart here. Let me just take that down so I can not be quite full screen. That one does not want to play ball properly, so let me just screenshot it. So you can see it, there we go. So now this is the system with the lowest latency from low to high. So what you can see now is we've got HDZero in the complete lowest numbers, period. Just the lowest. And then you've got O4 race mode, and basically O4 race mode is the same as 120 frames a second on the original Air unit. It's basically the same. So what DJI have done is they gave us this really low latency mode on the original FPV system. They then took it away on O3 and they've given it back to us with a new name called race mode, and now we should all be grateful again. So DJI have literally given us back what they took away with O3, with race mode. It literally is. They take it away, they put it in a new dress, and they giveth it back again. So that's what they've done. Someone has said there, why is latency higher on the Lite? Because of the hardware differences, the camera differences. DJI even state this in their own specification. The Lite is about 5 milliseconds higher on average in DJI's tests. So, look, these are the numbers I've had in my testing. I'm seeing 17 milliseconds to first pixel is the lowest that I've seen. I haven't seen the 15 yet. I'm not worried about that, right? It'll do it at some point. I probably have to do enough runs to get it down to that. Latency testing is complex. It's variable. For starters, it's not fixed. So you can do 10 runs and one run will have 20 milliseconds and one run will have 30 milliseconds. So what I have to do is average them. But the reason I put in the lowest first pixel number is because this number is really important. This number tells you not only the lowest latency that I saw, but how variable the latency is as well. So for instance, if you take here, right, lowest first pixel on race mode was 17 milliseconds. The average is 18. That means they're not moving around much. It's literally very close to it. Whereas when you look at the other charts, and let me bring up one of the crazy other charts that I did, the latency is much, much higher. The first pixel latency. So if we look at, I don't know, one of these. If we look, here's a great one, O3 30 frames a second. The lowest first pixel is 42. The average first pixel is 53. That's 11 milliseconds more. That tells you that there is a massive variation in the run-to-run variance. Because if there wasn't, it would be very, very close. So the average first pixel and the lowest first pixel is a real good indication of how much variability there is in the latency. Now, I actually charted this on FPV Wiki when I did it. I think I did this. I can't remember what chart I did it on. Let me just have a look. Drones, latency testing. I did a dot chart, this one here. First pixel variance on DJI. So I haven't done this on the updated system, but this chart is really interesting because if you look over here on the original FPV system in Vista, look, the variation is very low. There's not a lot of variation in each run, whereas on this, there's loads of variation on the run. Look at that one. It's got one really low one, one high one. So again, the average first pixel is important to tell you how much variation there is. So in the end, I am quite pleased with the latency numbers. Let me just go, because someone asked a question about ROSA. So someone had said ROSA had said 15 milliseconds. Look, you have to understand there are minor variances in how you measure the latency. I have only seen as low as 17 milliseconds. That doesn't mean it won't go as low at 15 at some point. I generally do my latency testing I do about 50 to 100 runs, but I usually take an average across 10. And there's a reason I do that, because that, I think, gives a fair amount. There doesn't seem to be much difference over the higher amount, but what you might see is one outlier lower number in high numbers. There is no easy or right way to do this. Chris might have seen 15, I've seen 17. That's with, look, 1 to 2 milliseconds of difference. No one should be worried about 1 to 2 milliseconds here. Look, there'll be a difference. There's always a difference. It's fine. I'm more than comfortable with DJI's 15 millisecond number. Even though I haven't seen 15 yet, I'm more than comfortable with that number exists. But when it comes to race mode, they're giving it back to us. And someone say, they're giving it back and you will be happy about it. I think someone said, don't forget to be happy when they gave it back. Exactly. So basically they're giving it back to us, which is nice. you know, thank you, DJI. Thank you for giving back what you took away from us in the first place. Now, as I've said, the Goggles 2 issue is one thing. The second issue is camera cables. Now, this is a bit of a bad one because this is a problem. This is a real problem, and more people are getting it. That there has been people who have got O4 with damaged camera cables. I've not had that, but people have had that. But if we look, people are getting their cables get damaged there. People are getting damage over here. But also, this camera setup is asking for problems. The more I've looked at this for Whoop users, this is horrific. Also, a lot more people talking about the terrible performance of the gyro on this, getting lots of noise. There's no isolation, unfortunately. Now, if you get an O4 camera cable that's faulty, make sure you do open a ticket, because DJI need to deal with this through support. Don't let them get away with it. Open a ticket so they fix this. Mine aren't too bad. There's no question this cable is junk compared to the original one. If you look at the cable on, it looks really like the aftermarket ones you get. This is one of the aftermarket ones. It's nothing like O3. O3 had this lovely, look at that, lovely braided cable. Although DJI have cut the cost of the product, so what do we expect? In some ways, they've given us a cheaper product, yet we're now unhappy about the quality of the cable. I think they could have spent a little bit more on the cable, though. I've not seen how many companies are going to release aftermarkets. I know iFlight have aftermarket cable coming with some of their frames. I'm guessing we will see aftermarket cables from everyone. I haven't seen any yet. I haven't checked AliExpress today. If anyone's seen any, do let me know. It will come. It will come. But if we check Ali, because places like that is where you see them come up first of all. DJI O4 cable. I haven't seen any yet. If we just go to the desktop, there's nothing here. You've got the power cable. If we try MIPI, that's a RunCam one. Nothing yet for O4. They will come. They will come. Look, the cable definitely isn't of the quality of O3. Is it bad? Is it terrible? I'm not so convinced. I've not broke one of mine yet, but people have reported tearing them up. I think it's hard when it comes to cables because, you know, how heavy-handed has someone been? How much have they damaged it? Have they done this? Have they done that? It's, you know, we don't know the truth. That's the honest answer about it. There's definitely some been a bit janky, that's for sure. Are they out and out fragile? They definitely don't feel of the quality of the original cable. So if you have a problem with your cable, not as a result of a crash, I will add, speak to DJI. Open a ticket, get them to return it. Genuinely, my biggest concern, I'm going to be honest with you, is this damn connector. These are so fragile, these connectors. It's crazy. This is more of a problem in some ways than the cable. You're going to have to be really, really careful with this. I haven't... Is that still plugged in? I don't know. Let me check something. No, it isn't. Can I get my HD60 to behave? Because I want to show you this under the microscope. 2 seconds. Let's do this. Let me just do something a moment, guys. You're going to see something live now. For those who don't know, I actually have a microscope camera, which I swing down from above like this. So we go like that. I then turn on the light. I then plug in the USB power cable for it, which is there. And then I steal the HDMI cable from that, which is over there, and I need it a little bit longer because it's not quite long enough. It's usually a bit smoother than this when I do it. But what we then do is plug that in there. And in a second, you are going to have the microscope. So if we go back to the overhead, and it will kick in a minute because it takes a second or two. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Come on. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. We need plenty of light. And then we need to focus. Woohoo! Now it will stop moving in a second. So here you can now see that interposer board, and that's the official term for this. As far as I understand, it's an interposer. It's a board that changes one type of connection to another. So you've got your MIPI connector there on the back. Now DJI just put 2 pieces of glue. You've got a piece of glue there, and there is a piece on the bottom which I've already cut off. But what then happens is this very carefully lifts off, and this leaves you the camera module with that connector. Now, someone spotted this, that on iFixit's teardown of the Neo. They actually went into the camera. DJI Neo. So if we go to the desktop, they actually did a teardown and have, there we go. And you can see there the image with the same unit. So let's open that in a new tab. There you go. You can literally see it is the same camera, and it has that connection on it that we have on ours. It's a different, they're using a different ribbon cable. So DJI have literally taken the same connector. I don't know, does it show it anymore in the video?
It's that time of year.
Let's just, if we jump to the camera, do they jump to the camera? I did a teardown of this. Where are they doing the camera? Come on. Oh, they don't show a lot. No, he doesn't disconnect it. It literally... So he does take the module out. That literally looks the same. It's got the housing over the top, but it is literally the same module. So... Now, the problem with these connections is they are insanely delicate. Insanely delicate. These are like cheese. You will damage one of these so quickly. It's crazy. So we're going to have to be careful. But you can see there, and then you've got that board connection on the back there. So there's no circuitry on it. It's nothing to be aware of. But look, this is not robust. I did warn... when this first released that people are going to have to be careful with this. I would certainly cover this in a fair amount of hot melt glue to protect it, is what I would do. But yeah, that's the only way you're really going to be able to protect that. Now, I've got a microscope in my face. Let me just resolve that. So I need to put that there. I need to put that up there. We need to then move this back up here, out of the way. And then we need to turn that light off. There we go. So, we're back. Can you image flip those in the goggles? No. And something else that's really annoying in O4, and I thought it had, there's no image rotation. Bloody annoying. So, that's where we're at. Look, there are quirks, there are issues. There is no issues with Goggles 3. Goggles 3 is good. It's fine. It's mostly Goggles 2 that all the problems are. Now, there are a number of people who have been asking about the range limit. Now, there has been a video or two posted. There's more than one starting to get posted. And there is a video that has shown the range limit at 25.9 kilometers on Goggles 2, if I'm right. Now, I don't know if I should show this. Let me open this post in a new tab. Here we go. So it's shown up at 25.64. I've seen someone say 25.9. Jacob has posted, and this is using Goggles 2, 1200 milliwatts fixed power, 1080p at 50 megabits a second. And you can see that is the setup. And on Goggles 2, the range limit is 25.64 kilometers. So, it's gone up a little bit. The post's on Facebook, so me showing the name is irrelevant. I also saw a new video a little while ago as well. But yes, there is, you know, it's a bit more than O4. But so for people who wanted to know, that is what we don't know on Goggles 3 yet. Expect it to be the same. I wouldn't have thought it would be any different. Is there a relationship between 50 megabits bitrate and range? Yeah, look, if you're fixing at 50, it's still trying to pump the data down 50. It's not going to have an effect on the physical cutoff, but it could have effect on how far you can fly to where you are. He used linear for pages. People, okay, I'm going to say this again. Guys, stop worrying about cross-polarization on O4, 03 and DJI FPV. It is not important. It doesn't matter. The cross-polarization rule applies to two single antennas in the same vertical plane, basically isotropic antennas, which is theoretical. It's theoretical loss. Your goggles have either 4 or 6 antennas, all at different positions and angles. It is not the same. The cross-polarization word does not matter on this. I see so many people asking about this. This needs to die. This whole thing of, I can't cross-polarization, it's bullshit now and needs to die. We're not in analog. You can behave as well. We're not in analog. We're in digital. This is a multi-in, multi-out system. We are not using the same things. Don't worry. Is it true that low field of view on O4 Lite will be fixed with the firmware update? I have no idea. Can they even fix the low field of view? I don't think they can. Can they? Could they show more of the sensor? I don't know. Look, the field of view is generally based on the lens. What you could do... Look, what we don't know is DJI cropped? If it's cropped, then yeah, they could show a wider field of view. It's always cropped, otherwise you would see vignetting. But if it's only cropped to the vignette, then... But left-hand circular polarized antennas with left-hand circular patches would work better. Probably not. No. Won't make a difference. Should then the same be as the Neo? We've compared it. Have we compared it to the Neo? In theory, it's the same field of view as the Neo. So what's the Neo spec? I haven't locked DJI Neo. Because obviously, you can only go so wide with a lens. Okay, so spec. Again, I thought it's the same. Camera. Yeah, 117.6. It's identical spec. If it's new cam, no, it's not big. It's the same spec. Did you see the O4 lens mod? No, I haven't. Has someone done a lens mod? I don't know anything about who swapped the lens on the O2. Oh, it's a video from someone who swapped the lens on the O2 light. Do you mean the O4 light? There's a video. Where is the video? On YouTube? Or where is it? There's a couple of mods around now. Cadex lens on the light cam module. Interesting. Not seen it. I've been tied up testing, so DJI O4 Lite lens mod. Here we go. So
the TUI sale is now.
Advert. Desktop. So this one is Jake FPV. Is this one? So he's glued on a lens. I can see that already. Okay. That'll probably be the way forward. I suspect someone will make a clean and tidy one, and that's what will change, and DJI won't do nothing. How much wider are they getting it with the lens mod? That's the question. And is there vignetting? How much wider? Old lens. So, where are they? Old lens. So, this is Jake FPV. So, we need to find an image of... I'm just going to screenshot that a minute. We need to try and figure out a point where we see the same image. Actually, there's a nice one. I'm going to do that one because he'll probably fly past here again at some point. So we'll go with that and keep that one up and wait and see. Get rid of that. We don't need them. Okay, so there he's got new lens. So wait a minute. I need to see the same bit, right? Okay, with it. I'm getting ready to line it up. Ooh, that's pretty close. Right there, let me just... I'm a little bit too far ahead. A little bit too far. It's got a very different field of view on it. Try there. How close are we there? Okay. So, if we make this smaller and try and do these side by side and make that full... no, I didn't want to do that. There you go. So, we're gaining... Oh, we're definitely gaining. He's not on the same line, unfortunately. He's on a slightly different line. You can see it here. He's more over... Because he's come up... Although, I don't know, mind. The lens could be doing it. You can see the prop guard. Yeah. It's definitely wider. Is there a point where he shows a comparison? Oh, that'll be cool. It's definitely wider. That's for sure. There's no question about that. Okay. Here we go. It is freaking wider, isn't it? Wow. That's decent. That's probably going to make a lot of people happy. Color looks better too. Yeah, look. I think an aftermarket lens mod from the community is not a bad thing. It really isn't a bad thing at all. Yeah, you're definitely going to get vignetting. That's for sure. You can see it down here. You got it down the bottom. Not the top as much, interestingly. Lens is not quite centered on the camera because you can't, you know, it's there and there and it's there and there. It's not quite centered, but not bad. Not bad at all. I think someone will make a lens. I agree. I think even a 3D printed piece would be fine for this. You could do this in resin. It won't be far off when centered. It'll be very close. You could. This is ideally. I did a printable lens mod too based on Jig FPV. This is like the ideal part to do in resin. 3D print, because you'll get the quality. So if someone starts banging these out in resins, that'll be perfect. That's really good. That's actually really quite tidy. You can look at the ducts. You can really see the ducts. That's banging. I like that. I don't think DJI will fix this. Genuinely, I don't. I think DJI will be happy to sell it and you'll just go out and buy yourself a lens. It looks good. Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at it there. It's weird with the 1S as well on O4. So what I can tell you is this. That's great. I'm really... I hadn't had a chance to have a look at too much of this. Printed parts. So, let's have a look. What's he done? O4 light camera strap. Oh, he's got the grommet. He hasn't got... Has he uploaded... No, he hasn't uploaded a lens mount. Okay. He printed it from TPU, yeah. I've got flexible resin. That would be... Yeah, the 1S on O4 is a bit crazy. Now, what I can tell you is this. It absolutely shuts down at 3.7 volts on the bench. Without doubt. I've got a video of it. It shuts down at exactly... Yeah, that's what I've got, Carl, is F69. It absolutely shuts down at 3.7 volt on the bench. Absolutely. Without doubt. It's not lies. It's not hearsay. It's not BS. It turns off at 3.7 volts on the bench. However, there are absolutely people who have flown theirs on non-stabilized backed flight controllers down to like 3.1, 3.2. I don't quite understand it. People are absolutely flying down to 3.1 volts. It's happening. Yet on the bench, it turns off at 3.7 volt dead. Please check out this guy. It won't show a link. Can you put his name? Guy named Donovan. Is that on YouTube, is it? DJ on Donovan 04, I've searched. I can't find anything under that. Oh, posted it in Discord. Okay, let me find it. Discord live chat. No. Where have you posted it in Discord? Is it here? Someone's put it in 03. Let me just have a look. Sorry, I'm on the... I need to jump to the bottom. Jump to present. I saw that posted. O4 lens. I saw that posted earlier today and didn't look at it. Because I was tied up doing all of the testing. So, someone's posted a lens adapter here. Is this the lens adapter someone used? So, oh yeah, here we go. So there's an O4 lens adapter. Blow air over it on the test. I have blown air over it on the test. I always run them with air. It's not overheating, it's shutting down. That's cool. That's really cool. Resin prints. So the O4 issue is solved. Look, DJI are never going to give you everything you want. The truth is, DJI are never going to give you everything we've ever asked for. So, let's have a look. Oh, does he show how to do it? Let's have a look. That I'm interested in. So, where's the doing it? Right there. Okay, so we're about to see him go to the bench. So he's put like a bit of glue. Is it super glue, I assume? He's put on. Nice work. So there's the camera and sensor. Nice. I'm guessing the lens is just stuck on. Slightly out of focus, but we'll forgive him. He's doing God's work, so we will forgive him. Hello, Donovan, you're there. Hello. Cleaning the sensor. Don't do it. Just better to just never touch it, because you'll now spend the rest of your life cleaning the fucking sensor. Tell me about it. Really nicely done. It's nightmare. Once you start cleaning the sensor, that's it. You'll never not. Fairly easy to remove the O4 lens with a bit of heat. It'll do the job nicely. There we go. And then he just sticks it down. See, look. Bang on. Bang, bang on. Problem solved. Problem solved. Really nicely done. Really nicely done. Resin prints are perfect for this. Resin will be ideal because resin will give you... There we go. Look at that. Even a standard print looks nice, but resin will just finish it off. Really cool. Really cool. Really pleased with that. Nicely done, Donovan. I will put a link to this video in the description. Share, copy, post, and not in white. That's really cool. That's bob on. Really is bob on. Cool. So, a couple of other last things I want to talk about on DJI before we move on. Yes, you've got to be careful with super glue. You don't want to use super glues. I would not use super glue. I would use something not super related because it will stick to the glass and fuck the lens. Super glue is not what you want to use around anything glass because it just goes... hope that glue doesn't fog the sensor. Yeah, you need to be really careful. Use E6000. So that. Okay. Another couple of things. I have a video come in for those who are interested on the DJI Goggles 3. Where are they? I've lost them. I've lost them. Aha. I have a video coming on the DJI Goggles 3 for all of those people who don't want a battery. Because this is a pain in the ass, especially if you're someone that uses Cosmos Streamer. So, after loads of requests, I've put together a video showing you how to modify the Goggles 3 to use your own external battery. Now, I have already actually slyly uploaded what you need to know onto FPV Wiki already. The video will go through all of the technical details on what you need to do and everything you need to be aware of, because there are some quirks to it. It's not as simple as just going, oh, cut the battery off and put a battery on. It is a bit more complex than that. Let me just find the bits I want to show you. Now, I don't actually put an XT60 on because I've returned mine back to normal working. because I don't need it. Here we go. But what I do show you in the video is it actually working. We actually test it with Cosmo Streamer as well. So it is a Beck that I'm using. You are going to need a Beck for this. Don't use the cheapest Amazon Beck like I have used. You really don't want to do that. I only use this for demonstration. But I do show you how to power these goggles externally and then not worry about the internal battery. Now, there are a few other mods that you can do. You could do it with a bigger battery, or you could just put an XT60 on the back of the headset connector, an XT30, whatever you want to do. You can do it all if you like. But I have actually uploaded onto FPV Wiki already the images, well, the image, I should say, of the board. This is what you need to know. The info of where you go on to is here. So this is where you need to pin it onto. You can't just go onto the battery connectors because it's expecting there to be a battery as well as a balance to the battery. So you need to go on here. You also need to install a reverse protection diode, something like a 1N4001 will be perfect just to prevent voltage going back up to the back if you plug the goggles into an external supply. You could put a fat strap on it. You can do what you want. I don't finish it because, I'll be honest, I'm happy with mine as they are. But we do show you how to do a full battery mod for these. That should also stand for the Integras. That should also stand for the N3 as well. So that's coming, which is hopefully people will enjoy that one among the many other videos that we've done this week as well. There was one more thing on DJI and I can't remember what it was. O4, Goggles 2. I'll come on to the Cadex free cable in a minute now. I can't think, there was something else, but it can't be important. Ah, the flip. I saw it this week. I got to have a chance to look at it in a cupboard. I didn't touch it. Not for me. Just not the product for me. Ah, one last thing. I've seen a lot of people asking about, you know, what next this year? Okay, for DJI. Basically, my understanding is there are no more FPV products on DJI this year. People keep asking, but what about the next goggles? What about this? What about that? Look, my understanding is there are no more FPV products this year until the Neo 2 towards the end of the year. I believe DJI have plans for a version 2 Neo towards the end of 2025. There aren't plans, as I understand it, for anything else FPV related. No goggles, no Avata 2, 3s, all of that staying the same. I think they're going to push the Neo on a step to catch it up to some of the other products as well. But there won't be any new goggles this year. There won't be anything. As for what goggles to buy, if you're buying today, my honest opinion is buy Goggles 3. I wouldn't buy Goggles 2. There are too many issues with O4. I would buy Goggles 3 now. There is one more FPV drone coming. I'm not aware of anything. What I know is there is no FPV drone replacement, as far as I understand it. That thing's never getting replaced. There is DJI's only plans for this year, as I understand it, are Neo 2. And then it's everything else. Is it possible to get rid of the forehead support on Goggles 3? Not really, because there's no straps on the side, and it would make the fitment worse. The fitment with the head strap makes it better, not worse. Does the Integra have the same issue as Goggles 2? Yes. Users have confirmed to me yes. Basically the same goggle. Mavic Foul, all of those type of products. Action 6 probably this year, some point. Then you've got the Osmo Mobile 9 or whatever that's going to be. DJI Mic 5 will probably be here this year. That's it. Neo with the lens of the Flip. Probably. The Neo will probably have a camera step up. And yeah. So look, don't expect much from FPV this year. We've had it now. Let's hope DJI update the firmware on the Goggles 2 to get that fixed. Goggles 3 and everything's fine. O4's out. We're all happy. That's where we're at. Next, we're going to quickly talk about Caddx. And I need to go to Facebook for this. Facing of the books. And Caddx have announced that they're giving away a free camera cable. I'm trying to find the post from Cadex FPV for this. Not camera cable, firmware update cable. Here we go. So Caddx have announced yesterday, free Moonlight update cable for all Walksnail users. Thank you for your continued support of Cadex FPV, Walksnail products. We understand the need to purchase a Moonlight update cable separately has caused inconvenience for many users. Well, the Moonlight came with a cable. If you lost it, you had to buy it, but it did come with one. Free cable upgrades. We have set all price of all upgrade cables on Cadex website to 0. Oh, wait a minute. Purchase the Moonlight upgrade cable. Which cable is this now are they talking about? Because the Moonlight update cable is the little one that comes in the box, does it not? Accessories. Yeah, I thought that came with it. I know JB had a big rant about this the other day. So, so what they have done is set the gimbal and the goggles upgrade cable to free, which is nice to see. That's really good. Okay, Cadex, thank you. That should be included in the box, but I appreciate that. And they've set the Moonlight cable to free as well. Now, I do know JB had a right rant about this the other day. Has he put it on the Clips channel? I wonder. Did he put it on the Clips? Because he had a big rant about it. Which I laughed at. Is it that one there? Which one should I buy? I have a feeling it is. I think he's lost it, yeah. JB had quite a funny rant about it. I was watching when... Here, I think it's now.
All I cared about was freestyle flying. I would be mighty tempted to go with the Walksnail GT and the Pro camera to do freestyle and not for just typical freestyle flying.
Something I'm surprised at is JB recommends the GT for freestyle flying. That's a big VTX for freestyle. It's also not got a DVR. Yeah, the audio's double. I'd have to stop my audio. I'm also surprised he's recommending the GT for freestyle. That's a big VTX with the fan, but also it's not got a DVR.
It's low light sensitivity and dynamic range. It's not going to give as good a recorded image, but that's okay because I'm just going to have a GoPro on my drone. Or I'm just going to fly for fun and record the DVR, and that's good enough. And I'm what's the guy's name? I know that makes me a stupid sheep, and that neat. What a great scene that. Pause.
He definitely had a rant about the cable because it was quite funny. And I just wonder if they did it off the back of that. No, I don't think that's the video. For anyone watching, you know, because he just lost his crap over it. It was quite funny. And I 100% agreed with him. It's a stupid bloody cable that will get lost. The GT isn't the one I would recommend for a freestyle build, personally. I could be wrong, mind. but it's a big VTX. Let's be honest. It's a bit too big for that. The walk snail USB cable is a load of crap. Yeah, I agree. So now it's further in, is it? Is it further in where he loses it? Okay. I was watching at the time when he lost it. For that cable lately. Someone just said free cable at $9.99. Yeah. The cable can be replaced with the USB that comes with the V3, for example. Not a big deal. It's just annoying to have to put a bloody loop cable in. And look, Caddx have some strange quirks like that at times. But, you know, when you look at the Moonlight, it's two separate devices. Two separate devices. Cadex Vision 3 GT and Moonlight UFLs are terrible. I've not experienced that. I found the UFLs on the Moonlight and the GT are glued now. I thought they were pretty solid. I didn't think they were bad at all. I've actually found the Moonlight quite robust. This is my Moonlight here. My Moonlight's been absolutely battered. I've taken this out of... Look, just to show you how much battering my Moonlight's had. You can see the mud. I'm sure that lens is probably badly scratched. But, yeah, this has had a bit of a battering. It's held up well, the Moonlight overall. There's a bit of mud on it. But, yeah, it's not done too bad. It's genuinely... I've seen some stupidly worrying stuff, if I'm honest. A user posted the other day that they received the VTX with Caddx had wired it wrong inside and it burnt out when they plugged it in. Stuff like that isn't great, let's be honest. But I think it's been the Moonlight is... I think the Moonlight is probably the best VTX overall Caddx have made. Don't ever take it apart, for God's sake. It's horrific. And I have to say, what DJI have done is incredible on the packaging of O4. It's on another level. Honestly, I fitted it into a frame today. And it is on another level. Yeah, the Moonlight can be done over SD card, Ken. The others... but you need the loop cable to communicate between the boards because it can't communicate internally. I still need to publish my GT video on how to connect it to the GM gimbals. I've had this video unlisted on the channel forever because I just haven't had a chance to post it, and I need to do it. I've got a video on how to use the GT with the Cadex gimbals. You need to connect to the UART inside, and you can do it. It's 4 minutes in, is it? Avatar HD Pro. Yeah, because this isn't the Pro camera, is it? Is this the Pro camera? Do you know what? I've lost track of the cameras with Cadex. I need to check again. I'm not sure if I believe that single wire swap. Yeah, it's a bit weird. This is the Moonlight camera. Yeah, sorry, it's the Moonlight. You then got the Pro. I don't know which quad I've got the Pro on. I've stripped this out because this, I've converted my AOS 5 to O4 because I needed a quad for O4, and I've had to take Moonlight out because this was the best quad to convert to O4 that I had. I printed off Ross's elaborate front end. Do you know, it took me far longer than it should have to work out how the frickin' hell you're meant to install Ross's elaborate mod to allow O4 to fit. It's two parts. So you've got that part there, and then you've got like another part inside that attaches to the camera, and then it hinges on that. It's quite tight, but it rocks on that. I don't think there's much vibration isolation going on there. That is for sure, because that TPU is absolutely solid. But yeah, O4, I've mounted it in Ross's frame. So this is going to be my test bed for O4. You can see it mounted in the back there. It's so easy to fit, I'll be honest. It's it really is quite the nice thing to get in a frame. Look how much space there is in the back with O4 now. It is crazy, isn't it, when you think about it? Silicon isn't printable. But yeah, so went in nicely. Need to print it in F69. Yeah, I haven't got a resin set up at the moment because they tried to kill me. But yeah, so I've converted Ross's. Ross's is done. Ready to go. Just got here. The longer Cadex cables, original cables, work with DJI O4? No. So the cables for Cadex are crossed over. I explained this in the video that went live earlier, but just so people understand fully, right? So the Cadex cables... where is it? I've got one on the table here because I've been doing this like an hour ago. I had one on the table, he says. Ha ha ha. So this is an original Cadex cable, okay? So for starters, O3 is not the same. Yes, O4 antennas are left uncircular polarized. O3, not the same. So the Cadex cables are pinned out that when you stretch it out like this to this, okay, zoom out a bit, too close, too close. So when you pin this out this to this and test it with a multimeter, my God, that's now out of focus. There we go. So 3, 2, 1, today. Come on in, Panasonic, wake up. There. So when you test this like this to this, right? Pin 1 at the top here goes to pin 1 at the top there. So they all go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, down to 26. All the way down. Exactly the same. No, actually, it's not 26 on this. O3 was 26. I can't remember what it is on this. Oh, it might be 26. I need to check. 13 each side. Actually, yeah, I think it is 13 each side. So, 1 to 1, 1 to 1, 1 to 1. When you put the cable like this for testing, what you actually find is obviously it isn't 1 to 1. It is that one to that one, that one to that one, and it works in like that. Okay, when they're next to each other. But when they're stretched out like that, same orientation, it's straight through. The O4 cable is opposite. So when you stretch out the O4 cable like this, pin 1 at the top here is pin 26 at the bottom down here. And it goes that way. So it goes that way when you pin it. So it is completely opposite. But when you measure it here, because now we're next to each other, 1 to 1, 1 to 1, 1 to 1. Can you flip the interposer to reverse the pin out? I'm guessing no, and I don't want to try. Because the interposer is pinned top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, not just in a row. If you look at the interposer, there are pins either side. So it's not as simple as that to there. If someone is brave enough to try it. So Walk Snail is not the only one without standards, I guess. So look, there is a difference in the pinouts. Unfortunately, as a result of that, the avatar cable won't work. What people have found works is if you use a MIPI extender board, it works with the avatar cables because you keep the original DJI cable in the loop and then you have the extender. Yes, we need FPVstandards.org for things like MSP OSD and others, including camera cables. Also, is race mode range significantly worse? I haven't tested it enough to tell you yet. I've done all the bench testing now. I'm now onto the real world testing. So, yeah. Is there absolutely no cross compatibility when spectating on O4? I was able to spectate O3 between Goggles 2 and V2. Yes, but no, there is not. And that is because, understand, Goggles 2 and the V2 use the same chipset. So whilst it's a different model of goggle, it still uses the same RF chipset. Goggles 2 and Integra, Goggles 3 and N3. N3 uses the new chipset. Goggles 3 and N3, new chipset. Goggles 2, Integra, old chipset. You cannot cross between the chipsets. That's the same with the remotes. It's the same with the spectators. It's the same with everything. That's why you can't use FPV Remote 2 with Goggles 3. That's why you can't use FPV Remote 3 with Goggles 2. They are different. What if you just spliced the cables? You could absolutely splice the cables if you're brave enough, but have you seen the size of the cables in one of these? They're also coaxes, by the way. They're not just cables, they're coaxes. A MIPI is full of coax cables. It's not just a cable, it's a coaxial cable. What does the IMU error on Goggles 4? What Goggles 4? O4 or Goggles? Here comes Whitney as repeater cable. He's a brave man. Unit 4. IMU error would usually be on the camera, or it might be on your goggles, but that would usually be a camera MIPI cable issue is what I would suggest, because the IMU is on the camera. Maritech, oh yeah, sorry. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Yes, I am aware. Nothing goes unnoticed. But thank you for the $2 super chat. And stop fucking arguing. Um... 80 mile an hour into the wall made the IMU error come up. Well, let's... Remains to be seen is the term I'll use. Stop arguing about politics. The wall made the IMU error come up. Now, before we come off from this, the last one I want to talk about is Cadex. There's not a lot more to say about Cadex. This week, the relay video goes up. It's a really good video, actually. It's a long video, but it's a good one. But there's lots of interesting stuff in there. Interesting product. Can't knock the relay. Cannot knock the relay at all. Don't think anyone should buy it, but I cannot knock the relay. But the relay video goes live this week. We don't know any more from Caddx. I think there's some new products coming. I don't know. Do you know what? I was flying I need to get a new duct for my GoFilm 20. I actually like the GoFilm 20. It's a good little quad. I do like the GoFilm 20. Not a bad little quad. But last one we really should mention is HDZero, because there's really been, no talk of HDZero for a long time. And it's, to be fair, I think, look, I don't know anything about the new goggles that were meant to be coming. The budget, I've not heard or seen anything. I would love HDZero to give us a good reason to talk about it. One thing to never underestimate, though, and I showed this earlier, it don't matter how low DJI make the latency, right? It don't matter how DJI low they make the latency. They ain't got nothing on HDZero. And I mean nothing on HDZero. As I showed in that latency clip earlier, and I need to find it again on my Discord. From has image, as I showed earlier, right? It ain't even sport when it comes to latency and HDZero. It's not even a game. it's not even funny, right, when it comes to latency and HDZero, because HDZero is still the lowest latency digital FPV system on the market. And not just the lowest FPV system, it is a country mile lower. It is without doubt in a different league. And just to give you an idea, HDZero at 60 frames a second gives you a full frame before O4 race mode, or at the same time O4 race mode is giving you its first pixel. It's not even a race. It's just a different world. Just a different world. You can see there. First pixel on the Nano 90, first pixel is 2 milliseconds. Minimum. 2 milliseconds. It's just in a different league. Evan Turner, look, and like I've always said, I still fundamentally believe most people are fine at 40 milliseconds latency. Not racers, ignore racers. Racers are different, but I firmly believe, and the evidence backs this up, that most people are fine at 30 milliseconds to 40 milliseconds. And why? Because that's what Avatar HD basically does. That's what DJI O4 and the normal mode and O3 has done. And very few people have complained. But that doesn't mean if you're racing, you don't want the lowest. But HDZero is just in a country mile. But look, I don't know anything about the goggles. I would love to see budget goggle. I'd like to see something new come. Would absolutely really be good. So that's really it from Cadex, DJI. You know, that's where we're at on all of them. Right. The next thing I want to talk about, and I'm not spending too much time on this, but we're going to talk about a product that is by a company that I do not support on this channel due to the behavior of the parent company and what I feel they have done publicly to damage FPV. However, it is still something that warrants discussion, and that is the fact that Rotor Riot are releasing a blue UAS made in the USA compatible ESC based on AM32. It is made in the USA, and as a result of that, you are paying made in the USA $105 down from $115. It isn't available yet. It's a bit of a pre-order from the look of it. They show a picture of the box. They show a picture of the ESC. It basically looks like any other ESC on the market. You know, look, if I was to look at it as I would look at it with any other ESC, they're not castellated pads. So you can see there's no castellation on the pads. So from, look, the usual perspective that I would talk about, I think for that money, I would like to have seen castellated pads, because there are wires going through, which will help with the current. But castellation on that would be much, much better. I think this looks rough as shit. I'll be honest. I think that needs to be tidied up a bit. I like the separation between the pads, though. That's nice to see. But I would be concerned how easy it would be to rip a pad off that because there's no castellation. More wires would help. They obviously have FETs around here, so they're feeding this pad from around there, pretty much like everyone else does. What you can't see, and I'd like to see an image of this without gummies, what I can't see is what the separation is around the hole. Is there a ground area? Is there a separation area? I can't see because there are no images of the ESC without gummies. So as a result of that, it's very hard to see. Being completely objective, the design looks okay. I don't see anything particularly nasty. I would say the same complaints I have would be the same complaints I made about the Lucid, which was no cancellation. I think the price is what the price is for USA made. I don't think this is a product for 99% of people out there. It just isn't. It isn't available yet. It's a pre-order, $105. I did ask the guys at AM32 if Rotor Riot, Unusual Machines, or whoever they are, have supported the project as well as they're using the firmware. And his response was they are in discussions, but there is no official support being given at this moment in time, as I understand it. I would watch closely how that is, and I say this now, and I will say this for any manufacturer. If you're using AM32, you need to support the project, you need to donate to the project, you need to be involved. The fact they're charging that money for it, I expect some form of kickback to be given to the project, because look, they are selling this specifically for military-based applications and applications that need blue UAS. We know they are going to do it because they publicize that they do it through Unusual Machines and Red Cat. So as a result of that, I would expect them to be supporting the open source project that they are using to do it. Now, how AM32 will feel about that product being used in military applications, I don't know. We already know it will be, because Unusual Machines, who owns Rotor Riot, have a contract to manufacture FPV components to be used by Red Cat for military use. That's fact. So that product will be being used in a military setting. How AM32 can stop them, I don't know. And that's the complexity of this. So, but it's not for everyone. It's out there, it exists. If you need one, there. It's as simple as that. I want to kiss FC with USB-C. I really like the Ultra. It is check the box. You can see ground on the corner. I would get a Lucid over the Speedy B if I had to make the PDB with pin headers small enough. Yeah. Yes, there's been some interesting allegations this week about Red Cat, although it's worth saying they don't really hold any water. The allegations have sort of been made by someone who is known for short-selling companies. So, isn't it a bit of a shock that someone who is known for short-selling a company releases a bad news story that causes the stock price to go down? I'm not saying there's anything in it. I'm not suggesting for one moment that Red Cat is perfect. But that seems a little bit fishy to me in itself. The company who does short selling released a bad news statement on a company that they were short selling. I wonder where this ends up. You know what I mean? If you look at the Red Cat stock price, it did go down. I don't know, did it recover? It's. You could argue that there's been a pump and dump on this anyway, but if you look at it, this is all of the nonsense around this. And then it has dropped a bit. But it's not, you know. Who would have thought, though, a company that short sells releases a bad news statement? It's just freaking all of it. All of it. It's all a freaking con. It's all bad. Just, don't get me started. It really is, or it's like a joke. It really is an absolute joke. It really is. But hey, perhaps I'm too honest. The truth is, there's a reason why I've never made money in FPV. There's a reason where I've never really been successful at making huge amounts of money, because I've got this damn awkward thing. You know what? It's really annoying thing keeps happening to me. My freaking conscience keeps getting in the way of doing what it takes to become very, very rich. And it's really annoying. Perhaps one day my conscience will go away and I'll learn to say, you just don't get to know. And I'll make a crap ton of money as well off the back of a pump and dump scheme. But who knows? Goddamn ethics. Who'd have thought? It's, yeah. Who'd have thought? Right. What else did I put in the dock? Build the reputation, then cash in and retire. So, look, whilst we're talking about clarity on something, I need to, I don't know how they're going to feel about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. It is the time of year where people like me, Bambu, but I'm going to do this quickly and then Bambu. It's the time of year where people like me start to receive gifts from various manufacturers. We're heading for Chinese New Year, and as they do that, a lot of the Chinese companies start sending out gifts. Now, before everyone gets hell-bent, no, it's not big envelopes of money, but it is a little bit of merch, and it's a little bit of stuff that creators get. It gets like a bit of a thank you. It's nothing that would ever influence anyone, but I also always want to be open and honest with you guys and show clarity. I did last year and doing the same. And I received a bit of stuff from Radio Master. And I just want to show you because I always want to be open. And Radio Master have sent me a Radio Master hat, which is very nice. A big envelope with no money, Wes. Have you had this as well, Wes? So look, Radio Master have sent me a very nice winter woolly hat, which I really like. So thank you, Radio Master, for that. They have sent me an envelope, and no, it does not contain money. There's just a thank you card. There is no cash. There is no money in there. That's all it is, but it's a Chinese New Year thing. They have sent me another Radio Master mouse mat, which I really like, so thank you for that. I do appreciate it. I think it's a water bottle. I don't know what it is. It's a COVID hat. I think it's a water bottle. They all send water bottles. Yes, it's a little water bottle. Or milk. Is that a milk tin or a water bottle? I think it's a water bottle. Perhaps the water bottle is full of cash. Oh, little Radio Master water bottle. Non-insulated. The money's in the bottle. Oh, yeah, I got the iFlight one last year. Yeah, last year iFlight sent me like 50 blank empty envelopes, which was very kind. I think there's a cookie. Where's, isn't this edible? There's something here, which is a Radio Master tea cake, which is very nice. And there was something else. I can't remember what this was. Oh, a wooden calendar, look. A wooden calendar. It's a calendar with a little wooden block on the bottom. And then there's an envelope with something in it. I don't know what it is. Let's have a look. I don't know what this is. Perhaps this is the money. Oh! It's the switch tool. That's good. Thank you, Radio Master. It's the switch tool, look. Surgeon did and didn't die. This is... That's really nice. They've released this. I saw this, and it's a tool for doing up switches on radios. That's with that is bob on. Where's my radio? We gotta test that. Come on, we gotta test that. Oh, that is awesome. That is cool. It's not going to help my broken one, because that is broken. Cool. I really like that. That's it there. So, look. Just wanted to be clear. I have received some stuff. It won't be the last. It's that time of year. Thank you, Radio Master. I do appreciate it. Look, these aren't things that, you know, you're not going to be influenced by a company with a water bottle and a switch, but they do send them out. And look, it's part of the thing of gifting things at Chinese New Year as well. And very kind. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. But I thought I would share it with you guys just so you know. Okay, Bambu. There is a incredible amount of noise going on around Bambu at the moment, and this is to do with them releasing Bambu blog. They're going to be releasing new firmware that introduces new authorization control system. Now, this is complex, and I still don't fully understand it myself yet. I think I need to try it and understand it. But they're introducing new controls, which will basically mean third-party apps and devices that could communicate with the system before will not be able to without going through this new authorization system. So, Orca Slicer and others will stop. But Bambu have said they're going to work with Orca Slicer and the others. What it does mean is if you've got like a Panda Touch, it's not going to work potentially, and a few other things. What I don't fully understand about this yet is Bambu Studio will be updated and it will carry on as normal. I believe LAN mode is going to be updated and it'll just work as normal. What I don't know is, for the people who want to use third-party apps, there's going to be an app called Bambu Connect, which will go in the middle. So the app will talk to Bambu Connect will talk to the printer. So it will all do it that way. Okay? Like that, like that, like that, like that. What I'm not sure of is, does Bambu Connect have to be online if you're in LAN mode? I somewhat don't understand how this all behaves yet and the impact that it will have. And I want to see it before I really understand it. Because what I don't know in this is what the benefit of going via the third-party app is. The Bambu Connect is, when the third-party app can still send a request to it. I don't quite get, well, if the third-party app just gets hacked and then that sends the request to it, I don't get what's different. I'm struggling to understand this until I can see it. You will still... Now, there are question marks over the update. Is this going to be forced? Because there is information in their terms of service that suggests that they may not allow you to use the printer if you don't update. But this isn't new information. It's been there for a long time. I have not been forced to update any of my Bambu Lab printers so far. None of mine are up to date. Just to give you an idea, here's the truth. I don't update the P1S, and I tell you why. Because I like it as it is, and I'm happy with it. My P1S is on... It keeps asking me to update the firmware, but I keep ignoring it. What is my Oh, I missed it. It was there. So my P1S is on version 01.05.1.00. My X1 is off at the moment because I turned it off when I was away. But I haven't updated any of my printers. Okay, so I've never been forced to. There's nothing to say they are going to force this update either. It's just not clear right now. What they are doing is putting this one, if you're using Bambu Studio now and that's all you use, nothing will change. You carry on as normal, your life won't change. It's it, nothing changes. What it means for third-party apps like Orca and stuff, Orca will get support I just don't fully understand overall what this will fix in the end. But look, there's a huge amount of noise around this. I have done the X Touch. I just didn't bother. I've got it here. I built it. I just got fed up of... I've got the X Touch screen here. I bought this for doing it. I built it. It boots to it. If I plug it in, it should boot. It should be working. If I plug it in, it should probably go to it. I didn't bother in the end. Do you know the truth is, I didn't need the touchscreen. Yeah, see, it's got a... I didn't need it. Honestly, I just didn't need the touchscreen on my P1S because I just send everything from Bambu Studio and it works. And, you know, there we go. Oh, it wants me to pair the printer. It does look nicer, yeah. Yeah, I did see you over here. I've been up to my eyes in it. I will reply. Sorry, mate. Yeah, there we go. She's connected now. There's my two there. So, yeah, look, it's... I'll be honest. I don't bother with it. I don't need it. It works fine without it. A change filament. Exactly the same, Carl. I just didn't need it. I don't use Orca Slicer. I didn't really find the need to. I know some people do. Orca will be fine. Or don't think they're going to block Orca. Orca, what you will have to do initially with Orca is export it and just drag it into Bambu Connect. But I believe there'll be integration added or something. What I don't fully understand is the ins and outs of this. I know Lewis Rossman's done a video. I've seen it. There's a lot of people running around saying the world's burning down. Stop buying bamboo. Stop doing this. I want to wait and see the truth of this, not the internet rage of what this is. I still don't fully understand what this solves, truthfully, because they've said critical operations that require authorization will be binding and unbinding the printer. I get that. Initiating remote video access, performing firmware upgrades, initiation print of LAN mode, controlling motion control system fans and things. I'll be honest, you could solve all of this by making everyone press OK to start on the printer. For 99% of users. I would be more than happy to send a print from my desktop and walk over to the printer and hit OK to start. I'm okay to do that. You know, print farms, no. But I don't think there's... I think you can solve most of these issues by having... You have to hit OK before the printer starts. I genuinely don't think that's a problem for 99% of users. But this is... I don't quite get what this changes today. That's the bit I'm not... So, there's going to be the Bambu Connect, which is this. So, you're going to have to run Bambu Connect if you're using local printers. It shows the printers there. Connected on LAN mode. What my understanding is what will happen eventually is you will send the file. What they're changing is this. Here's the big thing that they're changing. You will not be able to send files directly to the printer from third-party apps. It will have to go through Bambu Connect. That's the basics of this. But your app will be able to send its file straight to Bambu Connect via an address, I believe. Via a web address. And that's all that's really changing. So, I don't think this is as big of a problem as everyone makes out. I can understand some things are going to stop, like Panda Touch and others. But I'm not convinced it's quite so crazy as everyone's making out. So yeah, look, you can send the file. A valid example of the URL. So it can just send the file like that. By using this scheme, a third-party software can effectively open Bambu Connect and import the desired file. Yeah, so it just means third-party software cannot directly control the printer now. How do I feel about that? Am I really surprised? It's not like, you know, look, Bambu's closed source. I've always said it's closed source. Is it anything particularly shocking? No. Would I rather it didn't change? Yes. But they were hacked last year. Yeah, and it was an app. Was it a hack? It was an app pinging the servers. I'm not convinced it's quite as world-ending as the community is blowing up about, and that's why I'm personally just going to sit back and wait and see. I'll be honest, there is nothing here that changes anything for me. There is nothing here that I think would change. You know, what I would change in a review. Did I even say in my review, you can connect directly to this printer with third-party apps? I don't even think I did. I wouldn't even say that's something I would have assumed. Look, is it more closed and proprietary than it was before? Yes. But it is a closed and proprietary printer. So let's have a bit of realistic here. No one ever said it was freaking open source. No one ever said it was, you can do what the hell you want. It is a printer that gives you convenience more than anything. So yeah, printing farms I get. And that I get that 100%. And they've invested huge money. Yeah, and this is why also, you know, Toy RZ, you make a point. If you don't like Bambu, force you to use their software. I hope you don't use DJI stuff. Exactly. And we're somewhat used to it. Look, is it a shame to see this go a bit more in-house, closed and proprietary? Yes. I would have liked to have seen Bambu remain as they were. However, has Bambu become a victim of its own success? And are they fighting a battle of everyone trying to make software for their system, access their system, their servers? You know, let's not be under any illusion that Bambu are not still the hottest. And they are getting battered from all angles. So, look, I don't think it's a particularly shocking thing. But let's see. Look, that's my thoughts on it. I want to understand it a bit more. I don't think there's anything particularly crazy here that anyone really needs to worry about who's using their printers for FPV. Will it change the fact that that is the best printer I've ever owned? That is the best FPV printer you can buy today? No. I'm sorry. Nothing here changes the fact that that P1S is absolutely phenomenal as a printer. It is without a doubt an absolute machine above all other machines that I've used. It just works. And that A1 Mini, I think, is the best printer that you can buy in FPV today. Without doubt. For the cost, for the print size, for the usability. And will any of this change that? No. Because nothing changes. So, yeah, it's as simple as that. Here's what I hope doesn't happen, and this is the last thing I say. I think it will be a sincere mistake for Bambu to force the update. Do it. Absolutely. They can do it. And what I mean by do it is release the update. Do what you're doing here. Do not force people. Do not go down the road of forcing the update. It will cause more reputational problems than anything else. And that is my only advice. Do what you want in the firmware, introduce this, but let people stay on what they're on. When I was talking about this, I am seriously tempted to get in no, you can't flash to older if they do it. I am seriously tempted to get in a Prusa to have a look at. I wish they weren't so expensive. How interested would people be on genuine thoughts on a Mark IV? Is it even worth it or not? Because the Bambu is just so freaking good. I am, you know, is it... Look, I've looked at the Crealities. We know the ins and outs of the Crealities. Good enough, but Prusa XL is money. That's big money. Bambu slays, and that's the problem. That is the problem. I don't know anything about the next printer. No, I don't know anything. I find it very hard to believe that Ender 3 will not print for beans without some messing. Ender 3s are alright, but yeah, you need work. AMS is fragile. 85% solved. Yeah. But that's it. The audience that really needs the recommendation is the same audience that benefits the most from Bambu's ecosystem. Matthew, you hit the nail on the head, and that's why we love the Bambu. It just works. And look, it's not, you know, it's not shilling, it's anything. It fucking just works. Just works. That thing's always on. I don't turn it off. It's always on. It's ready to go. I stick a print on. That's always got TPU on it. That's always got the AMS full. Just let it go. Works. And that's what I love about the Bambus. It just works. What more can you say? Right, we end this there. Look after yourselves. Thank everyone. Thank you all for the super chats and everyone who has supported the channel tonight. Let me just check. There is another one there. 6S Motors recommended for 900-gram drone. I don't know. Hop on the wiki as you're already there. Not the wiki, the Discord. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. And I will speak to you all soon.